Bumper to bumper, we love them old cars. Be it Ford or GM or be it a Mopar. People, power and passion, you know that is our deal. So tune into our TV show with Rusty at the wheel.
Hi, welcome to Tech Talk. I'm Eric Norton. If you're a fan of motorsport and love the world's fastest sedans with doors, you probably love V8 supercars, right? Well, wrong. The world's fastest and meanest machines, cars on the planet with doors, are actually top door slammers in the world of drag racing. We're at the home of one of Australia's oldest and most professional drag racing teams, Kapiris Brothers Racing. And today we're going to learn about what makes these amazing machines tick. Welcome to the show, Jeff, who's team manager of Kapiris Brothers Racing. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us at your workshop here.
No problem.
We've got an amazing car here. Tell us what it is.
This is a 59 Dodge Saratoga top door slammer.
So a top door slammer is what type of car?
Top door slammer is a car basically with an engine out of a top alcohol dragster or funny car being plonked into one of these things where you sit to one side, it has suspension. Basically, it's familiar with a road car.
Now, Jeff, these are the world's fastest and quickest sedans with doors. They do amazing speeds. How fast do they go?
This thing goes 256 mile an hour, which is 412 k's in the new money. So
that's way over Formula One and most of the other forms of motorsport that people consider to be the pinnacle.
That's right.
They reach these amazing speeds in a short distance, just over 400 metres. And how quick do they take to get there?
Well, this car does it in 5.80 seconds. Some cars do it a little slower, a little quicker, but yeah, basically this does 5.80 seconds.
So from a standing start covering 400 metres, it will do it in 5.8 seconds and it'll reach 412 k's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is probably doing 160 k's by 60 feet. So yeah, the acceleration is phenomenal.
And as you mentioned, these are very popular cars at the track.
That's right.
How did the melding of the long dragsters and the sedan bodies come together?
Oh, I don't know. I think you had some crazy buggers like Victor Bray and John Zappia, and it even comes to mind an old guy, Michael King, who converted a wagon into a hearse, put a top alcohol dragster motor in and said, let's go. We wanted in on that. That was awesome.
All right, we've heard a lot about this machine. Let's see it with the skin off. Okay, we've got the front off. Jeff, tell us about this amazing machine.
Well, I'll start with the supercharger, Eric. It's basically feeding air down the cylinders and fuel. We're making about anywhere between 50 and 55 pounds of boost.
How does that compare to a supercharged Commodore or Walkinshaw, for example, in terms of boost?
Oh, they make about a 4 or 6 pound boost.
So they're running 4 or 6. This has got how much?
About 55.
And what sort of horsepower does that produce?
Probably about 3,500 horsepower, give or take.
So with respect to these two, the people tend to think of drag racing as a very simple sport that you're just going in a straight line, just standing on it. How hard can it be? Now, it's obviously very hard because there are lots of different tracks you race at and they actually have different levels of grip on the surface. And the car has to actually launch. So they have suspensions on these things in the rules. So you're managing and monitoring suspension setups as well as the amazing motor. Oh,
that's right. It's all about the suspension setup for a start, and then it becomes your clutch and power in the engine. What these cars suffer from is tyre shake. Where the tyre's trying to spin and grip at the same time, it is that violent that the chromoly can rip in half and shake the skulls around in the driver's head. So you've got to overcome that, or else it'll be an aborted run every time.
So it can actually break and crack the roll cage.
Oh, roll cage, wheelie bars, pipes crack off it. Yeah.
In fact, in some forms of drag racing in America, I've heard the tyre shake so bad that it actually knocks the driver unconscious.
It has done here in Australia as well.
Yeah. How do you overcome that then? What do you do? It's in the suspension, or do you make the engine? Do you back the power out of the engine?
Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the clutch. It's in the motor. It's in the ratios you use in the gearbox. All that comes into play. That's why we sit in the office for hours and at home looking on the computer for hours and hours.
It's all in the micromanagement of that extra little 15th of performance.
Oh, yeah. Look, and our team has picked up, like we've got crew chief Mark Bruin, and he's a very, very smart cookie, and we've got a handle on this. Yeah, we've got our supercharger up here, manifold, fuel system. Basically, the fuel is in here. Fuel pump is here, it's all at the front, it's mechanical. Comes up here to we call this a barrel valve, which feeds the fuel into the motor. It is regulated here by a main jet, which is tuned on the day depending on the weather, and it tells the motor how much fuel to get. Well, this motor is a prototype of a Hemi. It's made by Brad Anderson in the States. Cylinder heads are what they call a fat head, and they're made by NRE Engineering in Queensland. Basically, to put an engine like this together, you know, we're estimating about top to bottom at about $120,000.
And how many engines would you have in the team?
This is our third engine.
So you run one engine in the car, you have the other ones back in the shed or the workshop? Or?
Oh no, they're always with us in the transporter. Yeah.
At the racetrack?
At the racetrack, yeah.
Yep.
Ready to go.
So between rounds at the track, do you have to do any maintenance or work to the engine?
Yeah, sure. As soon as the car comes back, the whole team are on it. The guys will pull the valve covers up, do the valve lash, check everything, even check valve spring pressures. We have an on-valve checker. If there's nothing wrong, we'll be in the office on the computers. If there's something needs to be done, we can change a piston, change a motor between rounds, whatever we need to do.
How much time do you get between rounds to do that?
Oh, usually about an hour. In that hour, we've got to change a whole clutch. We change a clutch every run. Gearbox out, clutch out.
Yeah, and possibly an engine change if we
have to.
Yeah, so in less than an hour, you run one of those runs in an hour, you've come back, you put a new engine in, you're back out again.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's quicker to change an engine if you've got a problem rather than fix the problem.
Okay, let's look inside the 59 Dodge Saratoga of Kapiris Brothers Racing. Jeff, you told us about what's inside these cars here. There's lots of tube and roll cage. Give us a quick explanation of what it's like inside this machine.
Well, these machines here have got to be put together, and Murray Anderson Race Cars built this car. He says, my first thing is to build them safe. And he says to us, a simple thing, all triangles, make it safe, not much room for the head to roll around. So it's been strategically planned out and put together like it's a dream, this car, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so in here we see a big round thing which looks like a gearbox. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a 3-speed Lenco, what they call it. This is also control the engine by ratios, the drive by ratios, sorry. That would be first gear, second gear, and reverse, and 1-to-1 at the back there.
And now the gearbox looks like it's got some black fabric over it.
That's right. That's a Kevlar blanket in case of an explosion. Try and protect the driver a bit, yeah. Because
as we'll see soon, we'll see that the driver sits over on the other side of the car, and he's only about that far from the gearbox.
He is, yeah.
So we've got a 3,500 horsepower engine, putting all this drive through a thing. Now, if something goes bang, that Kevlar thing is actually going to contain it in. It's like bulletproof vest.
Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know, as you see, we have a titanium bell housing for the clutch because his feet are right down there, and that clutch is spinning anywhere up to, 10,500 RPM.
Back in the old days of drag racing, when safety wasn't such a factor, we're going back several decades, if a gearbox or a clutch let fly, it's been known that a clutch or a flywheel would explode and cut the driver's foot off.
It has cut the driver's foot off. I've seen one incident at Heathcote where it's cut the corner of a building off.
Give us an idea of what sort of temperatures are involved at different points through the run.
Obviously, most of the temperature you'll see is on a burnout. They can go anywhere up to like 400 degrees. This is Fahrenheit. Okay, on the run you're probably looking, it'll spike up to like 140 Fahrenheit and come back down. What the big thing is, if you get two different tyre temperatures, A, he could be off to one side of the track, or B, the tyres could be going off. So we'll take them off, throw them, put a new set on.
How much does the tyre cost?
They're about $700 each.
And how often would you go through those?
Oh, we change them about every 10 runs.
So every 10 runs. So you've 400 metre runs, 10 runs, 4 kilometres, so $700 to go 4 kilometres. Okay, we're here inside the office of the 59 Dodge Saratoga Kapiris Brothers Racing top door slammer. Jeff, it's nice and cosy.
Well, it's definitely built for speed, not for comfort, Eric.
Well, I guess Peter doesn't spend long in here, 5.8 seconds if it's a good run, so he doesn't need a padded seat.
Yeah, that's true, if we're lucky, yeah.
All right, but there's a lot of things to do in 5.8 seconds. He's got to do lots of stuff. Let's step through that. First of all, he's going to come up to the line and do a burnout. What does he do?
That's right. What he does first is he obviously feels the brake before we start it, so he doesn't run us over, which that's the brake lever there. It doesn't have a foot brake. He will select top gear, which is these buttons here, second, third. That's top gear there. Do a burnout, come back on the run, reverse back slowly, pull it back. Always make sure that it's gone back to first.
And he knows that because it's on a computer dashboard.
It's on the computer there. Yep, he can look down and see what gear he's in. Obviously, he will creep to the line, get it in pre-stage, bring the revs up. Could be anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000. Hold the brake as hard as he can, take off, still using a foot clutch, take off, and then no more clutch needed. It'll be second gear, third gear, parachutes, and fuel shut off, and that's the run done, if we're lucky.
And about off the track?
Off the track, we have good support. We have Kapiris Brothers, which is Peter and his brothers and sister, who've supported us for 20 years now, kept me in a job. There's Torco, Proforce Motorsports, DeFilippo Engineering, Paul Phillips Transport, Sporosky Unloading, U-Hire, Noonan Race Engineering, and of course Old School Parts and Panels are responsible for the way this car's painted and coming to the party last week for us when we smashed it, and yeah, I'd like to say thanks to him.
Yeah, it's a big operation.
It is a huge operation, yeah.
I really appreciate it, Tom. It's been great to learn about the car.
All right, Eric.
Thanks.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for watching Tech Talk. See you next time.